Jumbo, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Today's date is 2/23/2020. And our joke of the day comes from Cade. And Cade, this is another one of my favorite jokes. How do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie in it. It's kind of a gross joke, but it's a funny one sometimes. Those are funny jokes too. Well, today I've got a couple fun activities for us to do. It is pajama day at Viking Virtual School, so I've got my kitty cat pajamas on right here in honor of our kitty that we have, Louise. Mr. Waldron and Elliot built Louise a big cat tower yesterday, so she's really liking that right now. So that was their project for the weekend. But our two activities that we're going to do today, one, I'm gonna warn you, it's kind of loud and crazy. We're gonna get a little exercise in and get our brains working as well. And then the second activity will be a calm down activity to help us get our engines slowed down after we get really excited with our first activity. So I heard a little rumor from some of my fifth graders from Miss Wengerter's class, and one of the students, I believe, who brought this up, his first name starts with Z, that Miss Wengerter and her students really loved the 1812 Overture by Tchaikovsky. And it's a great song because it has tons of energy in it. And as far as I know, it's the only song that ever has called for live cannons in the performance of it. Still to this day, there are live performances with cannons. You go on YouTube, you can see all kinds of really neat videos with that. But for this performance that we have, since I hope nobody is shooting off live cannons at home, I found some different things around the house that we can use to make our own cannon sounds. So one, forgive me parents, if you have metal, not glass, metal tops for pots, these work really good as some loud cannon blast or cymbals. And if you don't have metal lids, again, please don't use glass. Seems like there's a lot of glass lids out there. But, excuse me, I found a cookie sheet with a spatula or whatever you have. Makes a nice little thunky noise too, kind of sounds a little bit more like a gong. So if you're into making some loud noises today, and it's okay with mom and dad, those are a couple ideas. Go around the house, see what you can find to make cannon sounds, and I would love to see what you have found around your house to use too, with pictures or comments below. Another thing, I know I have a special fourth grade student who really enjoys directing. So this is an actual conductor's baton, and you might just want to conduct along, pretend that you are at Carnegie Hall, as Tchaikovsky was for his first concert in the United States. But here's an actual conducting baton. See what else you can find around the house if you don't have one of those. This is a skewer for shish kebabs. That would be something you could work. A really long pencil, or even a short one if you didn't have one. And while you're listening to this song, a couple things I want you to listen for. One, I want to see if we agree on how many cannon blasts there are. I counted a couple times, but I might have missed one or two. So how many cannon blasts do you hear? And then after it gets rolling, there's this really cool part that has these loud chimes, and it has singing, and it's every instrument you could imagine playing all together. It's just this wonderful orchestral work that just takes everything you can imagine, puts it in one song. And the other part that I really like, and I think young people in kindergarten, first and second grade especially, you might like this, there's this part of the music where it just sounds like it's twirling around and around and around. And if you're someone who likes to twirl, go ahead, twirl around the room, and then get ready for our big finish with your homemade cymbals, or just marching. Maybe you want to make just hand cymbals, it's up to you. But get ready for this exciting listen of Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture, the finale. Here we go. I'm going to start with my conducting baton. What instrument do you hear here? There's two different families, two different instruments. And more comes. Time to get my cymbals ready. Tchaikovsky. Pause it here if you don't want to know how many cannon blasts I counted, but I counted 16. So hold on a second. I'm gonna go get a little bit calmed down, have a mindful moment, and then we're going to read Puff the Magic Dragon together.
Hi again. Before we get started with our book today, let's just take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth, to help our engines calm down a little bit after that racing around we did with the 1812 Overture. And today I've been thinking, like I said earlier, about my fifth graders a lot of Viking, and in Mr. Zaspel's class there's one fifth grader, I'm sure he'll know who he is if he watches, that always asks to sing the song Puff the Magic Dragon. And he wants to because Mrs. Crone, the wonderful music teacher who was at Viking before me, made this book such an important part of his rituals through music, and so it's a book that's very special to him. So today I was just thinking about what a great time it is to help us calm down a little, but to relive this beautiful story of Puff the Magic Dragon. So I'll do my best to make sure you can all see the pictures, but I'm just excited to share it with you. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. Little Jackie Paper loved that rascal Puff and brought in strings and sealing wax and other fancy stuff. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. Together they would travel on a boat with billowed sail. Jackie kept a lookout perched on Puff's gigantic tail. Noble kings and princes would bow whene'er they came. Pirate ships would lower their flag when Puff roared out his name. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. A dragon lives forever, but not so little girls and boys. Painted wings and giant rings make way for other toys. One gray night it happened, Jackie Paper came no more. And Puff, that mighty dragon, he ceased his fearless roar. His head was bent in sorrow, green scales fell like rain. Puff no longer went to play along the cherry lane. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave. So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn mist in a land called Hanalei. I love when pictures take what could have been a pretty sad ending and they add the rest of the story. Wonder who you think this guy is here now. He's all grown up. And who this young lady is. It's a beautiful book. Thanks, Mrs. Crone, for sharing this with the students at Viking, and thanks to my students for letting me know that that's a tradition you want carried along. As always, miss you so much, boys and girls. Spread kindness and peace wherever you go. Love, Mrs. Waldron. Take care.